and welcome to yet another episode of The Grind with me, your host, Hibak Saeed. This week, we're going to be focusing on the textile industry. Specifically, we're talking about shopping for Christmas. What exactly do you do during the festive season? We know that there has been an economic turmoil. How exactly are you budgeting during this time? And how are the entrepreneurs doing? This week, we're going to be focusing on Christmas shopping. What are your do's? What are your don'ts? What are businesses going through during this time? Of course, we have our entrepreneur of the week. If you could just start by introducing yourself. What is your name? What business do you do?
My name is Grace Moreka. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Amor Business Systems. We are in the fashion industry in Kenya. We sell clothes, and today I'm happy to host you in our boutique.
Thank you so much. If you could just, let's have a historical perspective a little bit. Last year, Christmas for the textile industry, for your boutique, how was it in comparison to this time this year?
Last year, the economy thrived a little bit despite coming from elections. Of course, the election season really slowed down and coming to the end of our 4-year school term. However, this year, things have been a little thicker. Most of our top customers, those you are sure of, they reduced their spending, citing the high cost of living. Yeah, so we are still optimistic, but the numbers are not as high as they were last year.
Right, and it's a week or so to Christmas. Of course, businesses either start panicking or they start having a little bit of a mitigation measure, knowing that maybe the stream of customers is not as much as it used to be. Now that it's a week to Christmas, what exactly are you doing to rally up these numbers?
For us, we are really engaging more on direct marketing to existing customers because, a week to Christmas, you can't say you want to get new customers online. Having in mind, e-commerce is our greatest selling point. Most of our sales come from our digital platforms. So we are really doing a lot of customer engagement, social engagement, one-on-one engagement with our customers. The ones we had, we try to maintain and we try to keep those ones because those ones at least you are sure of are guaranteed sale. The cost of keeping a customer is easier than the cost of acquiring a new one. Right. So for now, we are playing safe. We are keeping and maintaining the ones we have.
Of course, there's the customer culture that you guys are used to, especially when it comes to this particular business and selling clothes. Christmas is tied to buying new clothes. Is that maybe a sales notion that you use to market? Are you using, the Christmas tree and the Christmas season to make sales?
Yeah, as another business, Christmas is a big industry. It's a market on its own, and you really ride on that market. It's a season of gifting. It's a season of rewarding yourself and your loved ones for the long year. We've come out of COVID, we've come out of elections, we're in recession. You can always have something to give yourself back, something good, something quality. So every Christmas season, really, I cannot say it's about splurging or like wasting money, no. It's about giving, remembering other people, remembering the other less fortunate in the society. So where you can give a little, it goes a long way. Even today, I believe in organization, there's that thing of Secret Santa.
Yes,
you definitely get something, you're like, oh my God, that's so thoughtful.
Yes.
So it's not about really making money for this season. It's about just spreading cheer, basically. And everybody right now needs that cheer.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the spirit of gifting and in the spirit of, spreading the cheer, do you maybe have, usually at a time like this, do you have maybe sale coupons? Do you have maybe offers that you offer to customers? Is it working for these customers?
Oh yes, we do. We've always run promotions on our page, different offers. We are having our Christmas raffle next week where we can double your shopping. You pick an item, instant gift items. At times we match up vouchers. For those who especially like to buy vouchers and give to the less fortunate as part of our CSR, we match up those vouchers. It's our way of giving. But promotions at times random store. Some days you can have a flash sale for the day, 50% off, 90% off. And especially for some of our merchandise, which is made in Kenya, we really give very low margins to support some of our artisans, some of our tailors who really support us in business because part of our merchandise is made in Kenya. So because there's an ecosystem behind that, we bear that cost. Like for example, if you are our supplier, we can get it to you, we can get the merchandise from you, but online now, during this season, we give very small margins to push it so that it's a win for the customer, a win for our artisans and our tailors, and the business is still visible somewhere
well.
in the eco world. Yeah.
And it's a win-win situation. Let's think about our shoppers for a minute here. Let's go into the perspective of our watchers who are talking about or are looking into buying new items. It has been a very hard economic time. What would you tell them as a business person? What are the tips and tricks for shopping during these times?
Go for bargains. I'd really encourage. I go for bargains. If I get suppliers who are giving me high discounts, there was a supplier last week who was 40% off. So go for bargains. Go for quality. Go for reputable brands, shops that are credible. Especially this season right now, where there's a lot of how do I say, like conmen online. Right. Go for reputable brands which are online. Save as much as you can on the bargain, and make sure. For any retailer you shop from, always share a photo. Like, I got this from this, it was a nice piece. Every time a small person buys something or any person buys anything, there's a small businesswoman or a man somewhere who always does a happy dance. Yeah.
And when it comes to reputability and buying online, people, you know, they're crunching for time. It's only a week to Christmas. You would want to shop really fast. What are some of the things that you should look out for when it comes to buying from online shops?
Online shop, look at the page history, how many times the page changed its name. Look at the reviews, how many, like the shop, you know, when you post happy shopper, how many other new faces are really talking about the brand. And go for shops that use authentic images. You know, if you have a shop 100% is downloaded images, honestly, people really need to invest in their assets, in their online assets. In our case, like, we have to do the photo shoot. You've seen, we brand, we watermark all our images. Right. So go for brands that I can say are a bit credible, and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Especially, I believe, any shop, especially if there are those who have only e-commerce only, they don't have a physical outlet, let them have a clear refund, return and exchange policy. That gives the customer comfort. If I bought a shoe number 42 and it doesn't fit, I will be exchanged for, and if the shoe is not there, I'll get something else. Yeah, that basic systems and processes you can put in place to guarantee a safe online shopping experience. And never give your personal details online. Yes. Never. Yeah.
That's just a tip and trick for you. Now, for a business such as yourself, when you're trying to find stock, especially for this time, things that are relatable for the people when they're buying Christmas goods, well, what advice would you give other shops?
Go for quality. Never compromise on your quality. Give good service. Give good service. I think as a brand, it takes, again, I say it takes more than just good service, good merchandise, good presence, good location. I mean, you have to put God at the center. Right. Because, you know, there are some things you really can't explain. It's God who sustains. Because how many businesses have closed during COVID? From 2020 to date. It's not like that you're the best of the best, no. You still have to go back to your creator, acknowledge him, have him at the center of your business. Yeah, and I mean, that's the most of the basic. And then now you can go with the good customer service, quality merchandising, a neat workspace, good service, yeah, and a vibrant digital platform.
And now, as a strategy for you as a business person, this is the Christmas season, not only in Kenya, but also, you know, in the region and in the wider global aspect. There are policies maybe that are for you or against you. What would you say would be the conducive environment for this time when you are selling your goods?
Our customers are really crying. Honestly, our customers are really prioritizing luxury over basic need. Right. Yeah, so you find, for example, as we sell a bag, shoe, clothes, and somebody will be like, you know, school fees is in January. What do you prioritize? I don't need the 3 dresses, I just need just one. Maybe next time I'll come for 2, 3. It's just more of really perseverance, hoping the environment, the people in leadership will really take care of the people down here. Right. So that people like us, who are the heart, we are the heartbeat of this country.
80%
yeah,
of
we are. Yeah, because we recruit the youth, we work with the people from the underserved communities, and we just need a very nice, thriving environment for the business. Because, like recently, banks, they've raised our interest rates to 20% from 12%, and some are not even negotiating extension period. They're increasing, like, the amounts per month. And you see, it's stifling already in a stifled cash flow.
Right.
Yeah, and now you're like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? More collaborations, I think, are going to work amongst businesses. For me, it's working. I collaborate with other businesses who don't have a vibrant digital platform, cross-sell, and we're optimistic.
Now, Amore is of course going to survive into 2024, and then you're looking into next year and all the things that could possibly come from that. What is the future like, not only for you, but for others who are in the textile industry and in the clothes industry?
For me, the future is very bright. It's very optimistic because we saw the gap in 2020 during COVID. You remember initially, as when we started, we used to import from Europe, US, India, Vietnam.
Right.
And then during COVID, logistics were cut off. Like these other countries had a proper lockdown. And then the president really raised the embargo of where local businesses like us could shop from EPZs. And we went to one of the EPZs here on Mombasa Road, African Apparel. And they were doing for us very good, merchandise. The ones that you go to New York, you go to Macy's, and then you see it's written made in Kenya. So they made for us at very good price, and we sold. And I'm like, this can be done. So even for those 2 years, while that presidential order was still in place, we made our money then. And then when it was closed, now we had to look for other partners to work with. And realize made in Kenya can sell. Made in Kenya, there are some aspects of the products of made in Kenya that can really sell. And for us, as we continue to explore that area through collaborations and maybe eventually opening up our own workshop to do easy wins. For example, even like this very nice abaya you are wearing.
Yes.
It's something I think we can stitch, and we can even export it to Sudan. We can export this to Juba.
And it's locally stitched, by the way.
And it's very beautiful, yeah. So there's that gap, there's a hope. I think it's just more people changing the mindset, more Kenyans embracing local brands, and the possibilities are endless. In as much as at times we are all crying and complaining and mumbling, you're like, in this space we are in right now, what is the opportunity for me to thrive, to grow? Because I mean, we have to thrive and grow. That is a given by force. By force, that one has to happen. Yeah, so for us, that is the gap. We introduce corporate clients. We do t-shirts for churches. We do t-shirts for school teams. Our own uniform that we put on is locally made, locally done. So it's there's that gap. It's like, let's say, a new product we're introducing into already existing line to, it's a way to change strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is the parting shot of our entrepreneur of the week. She's talking about local collaborations and that how that could help your business to thrive. This is the Christmas season. People are looking into new ways of making money. But for now, let's go for a very short... Welcome back to The Grind, and in case you're just joining us today, we're talking about Christmas shopping, Christmas selling, how are businesses and people faring on. Of course, we have to have our expert of the day to just try and deduce what exactly is happening. If you could just start by introducing yourself. What is your name? What is your area of profession?
Hello, I'm Moses Mushiri Mwangi. I'm an economist and a data scientist. I also serve at the Economic Student Association as the organizing legal secretary. So mostly in my field of area, we deal with resources, or how to utilize them best, and also data, and how to ensure that data help us to forecast on people's behavior and also the economic behavior.
Right. Moses, during the Christmas season, a lot of Kenyans either overshop or undershop. It's usually a habit that we have. We're very last minute people. For a lot of our viewers who are thinking about going shopping, it's already last minute, so a week or so to Christmas already. What would you say are some of the steps they should take so that they don't overspend or go out of their budget?
Yeah, firstly, everybody must understand from what point of view they are looking Christmas at.
Right.
Well, there's a personal level whereby some people would prefer Christmas to be a personal time.
Okay.
There are people who will spend it with family and those who will spend it with a bigger society. So from that point of view, now you need to actually evaluate first the key things. One, this is a holiday. It's a time to make merry. It's a time to meet people. Well, like some others say,
Right.
Africans would like to always meet, maybe watch the moon. Not necessarily because they can't really watch it wherever they are, but
Right.
they need to come together for the fun of it. And so from this, one perspective, you don't want to compromise the future. So every person needs to budget in that their housing is well catered for, not only for this season, but the coming season.
Right.
Of course, it's necessary in case somebody has bills that are necessary that needs to be paid, maybe in January, for example, school fees, that needs to be set aside. And then from that point of view, well, from an expert point of view, you're not supposed to spend more than 1 to 2% of your annual salary. So assuming somebody earns around 10,000 each month, so at the end of the year, when you're doing this Christmas holiday, you only have like a depth of 1,000 to 3,000 to
Right.
spend. So you need to be very careful because the moment you overspend, it means you're compromised in the future. And once that is compromised, that means a bit of struggle will be there or debt will come in.
So prioritization is key. You must prioritize what exactly is important to me and how much I should be spending. And of course, you've brought in the aspect of budgeting. So for a lot of Kenyans who are budgeting at this time, you know, there's the economic downturn that has been in this year. There's, of course, the shilling that has been depreciating. What would you say are some of the things that they should be looking into when they're shopping?
Well, during this time when the cost of living is quite high, I think, well, us as Kenyans, we really come together during this season. So one of the hacks that we could use is pulling together our funds. Necessarily when this holiday requires a lot of financial muscle. So when we pull together, for example, maybe a family or a society or a neighborhood, we could reduce some of the expenses. Because what happens when people pull together and buy things maybe on a wholesale level or maybe in bulk and then share it amongst themselves, it will reduce some of the costs. And since people have been straining because of now the deductions that have been added to our pockets. So once we come together, maybe if people, for example, want to take beef, they can decide this village will buy one bull together and then we can share it. That will reduce the expenses. Yeah.
And of course, it's very important. You know, a community, even right now during Christmas, is essential. Let's focus on the businesses at this particular moment. Of course, there are businesses that either have a high selling point during this time or they're kind of going through a dip. What would you say are some of the businesses that get a high or are selling a lot during this time?
Well, Christmas is involved with gifts, food stuff. So that's the major things. So those in that field are now selling at a very high level.
Right.
So meaning people who have specialized in maybe in selling food stuff, maybe things like cattle or beef, or those people who deal with eateries. This time round, it's their time. Of course, people also exchange gifts a lot in this season. So those people who are, of course, specializing in that field have an upper hand now. But of course, there's the other side of it, the other business now who are experiencing low sales. But necessarily, every business needs to understand their season because that's important. Business needs to deal with time, speed, and also targeting.
Right.
So necessarily, a business should not go down because it's not their season, because projections need to be done. When do we scale down? When do we scale up? And how do we ensure that we play with all the seasons to make sure that we still exist?
Right, so that you just don't have a seasonal business, you
Yeah.
have a business that can take you throughout the year, and that's very important. I'm sure a lot of the people watching right now are taking notes. And if we're looking at specifically, if we're looking at businesses that get a high during this season, they have a lot of sales during this time. If we just focus on them for a minute, during the textile industry, for example, what would you say would be some of the measures they should take when they have an influx of customers coming into their shops?
I think one of the most important things is about stocking.
Right.
Because every business that is likely to experience a higher sale needs to restock to a point that they can actually service it.
Right.
Because again, people in this today's world is quite fast. So in case you not provide for something, people are not willing to just sit and wait.
Right.
So you need to restock. And this is easier nowadays because people can actually take in data, whereby you actually estimate. Last time I experienced 100 sales at this point. Right. This time maybe it will shoot or it will be within the same margin. So that helps you to adjust and to ensure that your stock is at par. Because again, when you actually wait for too long, the prices might go up. So as a business, you might not gain too much from that.
Right. And Moses, from the policy perspective, there has been a lot that has been changed in this particular year, including the Finance Act, and that has been a bit, hard for small businesses. What would you say are some of the measures they would take right now, knowing that there's, of course, a lot of sales, but then the people are not as many as they used to be? What are some of the mitigating measures they should take?
I think businesses might not necessarily help out the citizens at this point of view, because one, they have to share the cost. You see, the cost imposed on business has to be shared between the business owner and the customers, of course. So I think people have to adjust a little. So the sales might go down, but probably not so significantly. Well, because on this season, most people are likely to blind spend, whereby they actually will want to spend more even if things are expensive, because it's time to make merry. But I think one of the strategy business need to adapt is to ensure that they're very keen at the market, how it's operating, and of course how the things that affect their business operate, so that they can actually also adjust their prices as per the movement of the economy.
For customer retention, of course, you might have, those customers that are always coming into your shops. They say last year you were selling this particular item for around 200 shillings. This year it's 300 shillings. They might not understand the market dynamics. Would you say then having, price cuts, a little bit of 5 shillings reduced here, would you say that would help in retaining these customers?
Yeah, that could be a good move for customer retention, but there's a risk. Because again, if the customer's number is significantly high, then the reduction will still favor the business, because they will make more sales, and also the reduction won't reduce their revenue so much. But again, it happens if the sales are not significantly high and you do the reduction, you're likely to run into some losses. So I think this is more of estimating how much do I expect to sell and from what margins I can play with. And of course, it's good business should be sensitive to the people in that they don't overcharge to extreme points, and also they don't undercharge, so that they also remain in the field.
Right. And for customers or for businesses that are giving customers offers during these particular seasons, would you say that when they are strategizing, because a lot of businesses could be strategizing right now, do you feel like offers should be coming at this time of the year for customer retention and to get more customer inflows?
Yeah. Well, the things with reducing prices and also giving offers at this point, one, it might bring new customers who might prefer to come back, and also it helps appreciate those who have been coming. So this might increase your sales, and also it increase future customers. So this time, since most people are doing shopping at this time you're expecting the whole populace to do shopping. So I think this is the right timing to do such.
Foot traffic is really good at this particular season. And finally, Moses, as we begin to wrap up, a lot of businesses that might be taking notes from this particular conversation might be wondering, well, it's already Christmas season. Of course, there's all this foot traffic. Maybe I'm not ready yet, but all of these customers are going to be coming. Could you just give them tips and tricks to handle the people who are going to be coming? How can I ensure that I have a good face to show my customers?
I think here it's when, in case you're estimating that the sales might go higher than you can service, it's when you look into credit. Can I get credit to restock and then repay back? Because it's very necessary. The picture you paint to your customer determines how they take you and whether they come back. So if you lose this customer now, they might have a picture that you can't deliver, so they will opt for a competitor. So this time there are different credit fields or parts that you can take to ensure that you also keep with at the pace.
Right.
And also I think it's necessary that also business can collaborate. You see, you find most business centers have business dealing with different things, but they are complementary in one way. So they can collaborate to ensure that if that one produces something and I produce this,
Right.
once people ask for this from you, you can actually direct them to my end. That collaboration will actually create a market circle that the cash flow will be within your area.
Right, and that's very good insight for a lot of businesses that are watching The Grind. You know, it's already the Christmas season. You might have a lot of foot traffic. Kenyans are last-minute shoppers. How can you take advantage of this? How can you have, you know, new policies or even a framework that is going to help you in handling that? This has been The Grind. Thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate you coming into this particular show. My name is Hibak Said. Have yourselves a lovely Monday.